Dear students, welcome back to Signals and System online video lecture series. In this class, I am going to complete the remaining two topics in the signal approximation by the orthogonal signal set. In the previous classes, we have studied the orthogonality in signals. After that, we have studied the orthogonal signal space. After that, we have been discussing the orthogonal signal space. By using the orthogonal signal space, we are approximating the signals. That is nothing but signal approximation using orthogonal signal set, in which we have discussed the orthogonality concept between the signal set of x of t, which is having the x1 of t to xn of t signals. That forms the n-dimensional signal space. In that, we have represented the f of t such that we have defined the component, that is ci. Ci is equals to integral t1 to t2 f of t into x of t dt by ei. Ei is nothing but energy of a signal. Then after that, we have studied the mean square error. Mean square error is nothing but after calculating the energy of the error signal, that is EE, by dividing that EE by T2 minus T1, we can have the mean square error of that particular given orthogonal signal set. So that means what? By using the orthogonal signal set, we have calculated the mean square error, that is E of t, E square of t dash is equals to, we have, that is about 1 by t2 minus t1, t integral t1 to t2 f square of t dt minus sigma n is equals to 1 to n cn square en. That is, we have discussed in the previous class. We have discussed in the previous class, that is mean square error. The final expression for the mean square error is this one. This one, mean square error final expression. This is EE by T2 minus T1. EE is the error signal, and by T2 minus T1 will be is nothing but it is a mean square error, average of that error. Then E square of t is represented as the mean square error is divided by 1 by t2 minus t1, and EE is nothing but this term. EE is integral t1 to t2 f square of t dt minus sigma n is equals to 1 to n cn square into En. So this is nothing but it is the mean square error of a given orthogonal signals. Then coming to the next one, complete set or closed set. Complete set and closed set. Whenever mean square error is going to be 0, whenever the mean square error or the energy signal, error energy signal is going to be 0, at that point we can call it as closed set or the complete set. If you go with this equation, when we can have the error energy of the error signal is 0 or the mean square error is 0, that condition we have to derive. See this one, 1 by t2 minus t1, we can't make it to 0, and coming to the integral t1 to t2 f square of t dt minus sigma n is equals to 1 to n cn square into En. Whenever this term is equals to this term, that means if this term is x and if this term also x minus x will be 0, 0 into anything will be the 0 only. That means what? This mean square error or energy of that error signal is 0 at n is equals to, at this condition, this term is equals to this term. And we can have first term is equals to second term whenever n is equals to infinity. And this condition, this property of this orthogonal signal set is named as it is the complete set or closed set of the given orthogonal signal. Then coming to the two more topics we have to discuss in the signal representation by the orthogonal signal set, in which the third one is nothing but orthogonality in complex signals. Orthogonality in complex signals. So we know that orthogonality in normal general signals basic signals. Now we have to study the same orthogonality in complex signals. First, assume that we know that f of t is equals to, what is the formula we have? F of t is equals to, from the orthogonality concept, c into x of t plus et. We know that et is nothing but what? It is the error signal. F of t and x of t both are the signals, and angle between them is 90 degrees, so that c will be 0 if both the signals are orthogonal. If both the signals are not orthogonal, that means what? Theta is not equals to 90 degrees, theta is less than 90 degrees. In that case, we can have the c is a non-zero value. So here, what we are saying that whatever we have the two signals, f of t and x of t, both are the complex signal. This is a complex signal and this is also complex signal. That means what? We are defining the orthogonality in complex signal. Then if f of t and x of t both are the complex signals, obviously the error signal is also the complex signals. F of t is going to project a component along the x of t, that is c, and due to this projection we can have the error signal, that is e of t, so that all the three signals, whatever we have, all the three signals such as f of t, x of t and e of t, all are complex signals, so that we are defining this orthogonality concept in the complex signals. So whatever we have used the orthogonality concept to find the value of c in the previous classes, that remains same only, derivation remains same. And in the previous orthogonality concept in the basic signals or normal signal, we have the formula, that is c is equals to integral t1 to t2 f of t into x of t dt by, and now we can have the denominator integral t1 to t2, and it is x square of t dt. We have derived this expression. This is what, when we are defining the orthogonality concept, we may have the c component, that is component projection of f of t will define a projection component, that is 3c along x of t, so that if the given signals are orthogonal to each other, so that the angle between them is 90 degrees, in that case c is equals to 0. If angle between them is 90 degrees, then the component c is equals to 0. If angle is not exactly 90 degrees, if it is less than 90 degrees, we may have this c is a non-zero value. If theta is less than 90 degrees, we can have c is a non-zero value. So we have derived this expression in the previous classes. Now we have to go with the same derivation. Steps remain same only. The final expression we will get here, this one is c is equals to, we can have integral t1 to t2. We can have f of t into, this one is conjugate of x of t, dt by x square of t. That means what? We are going with integral t1 to t2 modulus x of t whole square dt. Same equation only. Same equation we are modifying with respect to the complex signals. Now f of t is a complex signal, and here x of t is nothing but, it is a complex signal, but it is nothing but it is a conjugate of x of t signal. This is a conjugate of original signal, that is x of t. X star of t is nothing but it is a conjugate of x of t. So that we can have the another form also, because integral t1 to t2 f star of t, that is nothing but conjugate of f of t into x of t dt by, remain denominator same, integral t1 to t2 and modulus of x of t and whole square dt. For orthogonality, we know that c is equals to 0. For orthogonality, c is equals to 0 whenever theta is equals to 90 degrees. So that for orthogonal c is equals to 0 means, from this equation numerator is going to equate to 0, then only we can have the c is equals to 0. Then I can write this is, now to make the c is equals to 0, what we can write? Integral t1 to t2 f of t into conjugate of x of t dt must be equals to 0, because this denominator can't be 0 because it is an energy signal. Or from the second equation, I can write integral t1 to t2. I can go with the conjugate of f of t into x of t dt is equals to 0. Where here x of t bar is this one was x star of t, and f star of t is nothing but it is the conjugate signals of x of t and f of t. Conjugate is nothing but simply interchanging the polarity of that exponential signal, that is a complex signal. Then I am going with the another concept that we can have. Now we can have the another concept that is orthonormal signals. So we know that orthogonality concept in the real set of signals such as x1 of t, x2 of t up to xn of t over an interval t1 to t2 that we have. For example, we have studied the orthogonal signal space in the real set of signals, such as we have the x of t is a set of signals such as x1 of t is one signal, x2 of t another, and up to we have the xn of t we have the signals. All these signals are the elements in one particular set, and all these signals are perpendicular to each other, so that the angle between them is equals to 90 degrees. So in that case, we have defined the orthogonality concept between the any two signals in the given set, that is integral t1 to t2 xm of t. I am taking the one particular signal in this one, xn of t it is another signal, and so that if we define the orthogonality between them, because earlier we said that they are mutually perpendicular to each other, so that if it is orthogonal to each other, that will be equals to 0. Where m is not equals to n, when m is equals to n, what we can have? We can have integral t1 to t2 xm of t into, again this is also xm of t, so that xm square of t dt, it is nothing but what? It is the energy of the xm of t, when we can call, when en is equals to 1 for all the values of n, then that set is called as a orthonormal set, or simply it is a norm. That means what? For example, if energy of that particular signal is equals to 1 in this signal space, we took the two signals, that is xm of t and xn of t. If m is equals to n, we can have the energy of that particular signal, that is what? xm of t, that is nothing but energy of signal. If that energy of signal is equals to 1 for all the values of n, then the set is called as orthonormal set, or simply normal set. Here note that orthonormal set is always orthogonal, but reverse is not true. This is the 4 points. From these 4 points, we can expect the one long answer question from one short answer question in the university exam. And based on this 4 concept, I am going to solve the one particular problem based on the orthogonality concept. Now I am going with the orthogonality concept with the one problem. The function f of t, we have the function f of t is equals to 1 for 0 less than or is equals to t less than or is equals to pi, and it is minus 1 for 0 less than or is equals to t less than or is equals to 2 pi. We have the f of t. And f of t is orthogonal signal. F of t is orthogonal. It is orthogonal to signals. It is the orthogonal to signals that are cos t. It is a signal cos t, orthogonal to cos t, cos 2t, comma cos 3t, and so on, cos nt. For all the values, for all the non-zero integer values of n over the duration, over the interval is about 0 to 2 pi. That means what? This is nothing but it is the simply we are going to define the orthogonal signal space only. By making use of the orthogonal signal space, we are going to approximate the signal. We are going to approximate the signal using the orthogonal signal set. See this one? Here it is having cos t, cos 2t, cos 3t, cos nt. That is nothing but what? It is x1 of t, x2 of t, x3 of t, and up to xn of t we have the signals. That means what? It is one particular set. That means what? Here it is a set of some signals, and in this any two signals are the perpendicular to the perpendicular. Each signal is perpendicular to the another signal, so that all are mutually perpendicular signals. Thus, if I take cos t and cos 3, both are perpendicular to each other. If I take cos 2t to cos nt, that both are the perpendicular, so that all are mutually perpendicular to each other, such that we have the set that is x of t is nothing but cos t, cos 2t, cos 3t up to cos nt in the interval 0 to 2 pi. Then what we have to prove then? We have to prove that the orthogonality between the f of t and xn of t. F of t and xn of t. Then I am going with the orthogonality concept. 0 to 2 pi we have. F of t remains same. F of t is we have into x of t is nothing but anyone I can take, so that I am calling this is xn of t dt. But here the two intervals as given, so that according to the given question I am changing the 0 to pi, that is f of t into xn of t dt, plus I can write integral pi to 2 pi f of t into xn of t dt. I can write now. Then I can substitute integral 0 to pi in the interval 0 to pi. What is the value of f of t? That is 1 into xn of t is nothing but what it is? It is about cos n t dt, plus then 0 to pi to 2 pi, and f of t is equals to what? Pi to 2 pi. That is what here this is pi to 2 pi actually. Pi to 2 pi, the value of f of t is the minus 1 into, and xn of t is nothing but it is cos n dt only. Then what we can have then? We can have this is about 1 into cos nt, that is cos nt only, so that integration of cos nt is nothing but sin nt by n. Limits are 0 to pi. Here minus I can take here I can have, that is cos nt is nothing but again this is what sin nt by n. Sin nt by n. Limits are what? Pi to 2 pi. Then if you substitute all these values, you can get the value is 0. That means what? The given signals are orthogonal. That means what? We have one signal set. In this signal set, we are having the n number of signals. In this n number of signals, all the signals are mutually perpendicular to each other, and so that it can form, how many signals are there? N signals are there, so that it can form the n dimensional signal space. It can form the n dimensional signal space in which we are representing the f of t, so that we are checking whether f of t is orthogonal to the any one of this signal or not. So that what is the condition for the orthogonality? That is integral t1 to t2 f of t into x of t dt is equals to 0. Then the time interval we have the 0 to t pi f of t into xn of t dt, and but the f of t is having one particular value from 0 to pi and another value from pi to 2 pi, so that I have divided that. So after that I have substituted f of t from 0 to 2 pi and f of t at pi to 2 pi, and after that I took the one particular signal in this signal set, that is cos nt I took. So that I have substituted, I did the integration, so that I got the answer is 0, so that the two given signals are orthogonal. That means what? Hence the set of functions cos nt is orthogonal to f of t for all non-zero integer values of n. Likewise, we can prove the orthogonality concept between the any two signals between any two signals, one signal may be from the signal set. In that signal set, all the signals are orthogonal to each other, in which we are going to put the one more signal. By keeping the one more signal, here we have to test that new signal is going to be orthogonal to the all the signals again. So that is the case, we have to go with this type of problems. Thank you, students. In the next class, I am going to start the trigonometric Fourier series. That is very, very important in the examination point of view. From that, we can expect the one long answer question directly, that is for the 10 to 15 marks. Thank you, students.